So don't be a hater.
The legend of Wings Gaming. I was hoping you were going to tell us a little story.
No, I don't have any stories that are safe enough to tell Twitch chat, but maybe another time.
Your most
hold you
toxic
to that, you know
moment,
that, right?
That is what you sound like. That is what you sound
All
like.
right, here we go. Hey, that's a quad player right there. Got the blue Queen of Pain.
God, there's so many particles on that.
Oh yeah, very sparkly.
What do you guys feel about the new Razor? Is it the Immortal that came out? So when he goes to a plasma field, it's like crackly static.
I don't think I opened my Immortal chest yet. Actually, I forgot. I collected them all. Clearly.
It does not have the new one, so he'll be able to clean up a line, get a nice early kill here.
You got Whirling Death as well.
Yeah, he has no escape. They want to go for another round.
Snake Ravage.
This is a weird place to fight.
It is.
Level 1, just like 3 Radiant heroes, not even like, I guess 4, like Deuces up here. Almost thinks they are trying to scout side lane matchups or something.
Uh-oh. Gork getting clicked down. Pablo, ooh. Speaking of miniature Ravages, that was one heck of a bushwhack.
He's going to have to go back to heal. He's got no tangos. Yo,
everyone's just lining up.
A lot of Ravages so far this game.
A lot, but not enough death.
Here comes another one. Come on, that was a perfectly good Ravage. Okay, he's trying to save his mana, being responsible.
No, they're not trying to. Gork actually just TP's bottom. Doesn't choose to heal. Very bold move in my opinion. He was pretty close to base too.
He really was. I'm very surprised. And his support's not going to be there for another like 15 seconds, so. And he's leaning against a Razor. I guess he can snake the range creep, so it's not that bad.
I mean, I guess both of them TP'd and they're also out of mana.
Still ends up getting denied too. And his first tango. Feed me.
The baby bird meta. Just keep putting regen in your core's mouth.
At least Razor's kind of slow as well, so that's one upside slightly.
I mean, I think this lane is all about this big camp. If Dire can get the pull open, help contest this, bring the lane back, then you can just run this Medusa down the lane with Link into the stuns, into the roots. Then it becomes really scary. If this lane just sits at her tower, Deuce is probably chilling. Because offlane Razor has no room to work with. And he's not just going to massively out CS you. His damage is pretty dependent on getting this lane.
And he's not going to want to link the Hoodwink typically either, so.
Like, I even think in that sense, maybe not that level 1. I mean, maybe even that level 1 camp, Razor helped defend it. Because this Hoodwink has to go up really far to contest that camp. We saw him body blocking it. And I think that's where those nice little kill attempts or really good trades can come in.
That blue particle with the blue quap looks good, I gotta say. That looks like a dead tree. Here comes the Whirling Death.
I mean, it is a Timber Saw, and a Timber Saw hates trees.
That was like 1,000 pure damage we just saw there.
It's a rough matchup.
I mean, this is one of Rajik's favorite heroes, too, I'm pretty sure. Like, he plays quite a bit of this, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about this Luna's a really good lane matchup versus Timber, but she doesn't have a lot of help because this tree matchup is just so hard. And then that's where you lose a lot of value because it's really about the dueling with this hero in terms of abusing the aura, getting that snowball advantage with beams into the double right clicks. That's where the hero really excels. So this isn't that like rough of a lane, but I think Luna will probably still farm on it.
It's not a bad time to Leech Seed, actually, because it's going to give him a lot of heal when the Whirling Death ends. There are slight upsides there, but
doesn't sound like enough to make you feel good
we'll
about
see
it.
When his look, he's already back up to like 3/4 health. It really wasn't that bad. As long as he stays alive, life will go on. And the large camp does spawn, and they get a pull off. So now Gork is being a little contested here.
They didn't hold the wave, though. It went straight into the tower. So it's basically going to boomerang back out instantly, which I think is pretty unfortunate.
What should they do instead? Hold the wave outside the tower?
Yeah, you either hold this Radiant wave there so the next wave meets it, and then Gork only gets maybe 1 or 2 if you deny the rest of the other wave on the hard camp. Or sometimes you can drag it over and kind of play that game, but that gets pretty weird. Usually you would do that if you want to double or triple wave the enemy going long term on the lane, you want to dive them. But I don't think this Dire offlane's in a position where they can kind of play for the dive. So I think you just deny. Ideally, you can stack that big camp too. That's why that 1 minute spawn's pretty nice. Because if you get that 1 minute spawn into the 2 minute stack, this is getting a little technical, but then that pull will deny the entire wave. So then you drag the next wave, you meet it under your tower, and that lane's like, it's golden for a while. The Deuce is just permanently done, so.
Pablo's getting very low. Like they're not going to be able to get off the final hit.
A little mana and he's got that kill there. Would have the extra plasma field slow, but
This is the nature of these pulls. They're just bringing the lane up, and then this Hoodwink or Dusa comes up. Razor can get a free link. They're not just going to be able to stand there and fight them. And this Equilibrium ended up back at their tower, so I guess Gork also took the wave under his tower? Honestly, I'm not sure what exactly is happening with the Equilibrium in this wave, but at this point, it's definitely favorable for Dire when the wave's up this far.
My favorite is whenever Avery gets bamboozled, he just like has this look on his face, just the eyebrow raised, and you're like, he's definitely not pleased about this, and he can't figure out exactly what happened. The route into place though here, bottom lane, Gork running out of that mana, no mana shield really left, just a little click away. They finish him off, yes they can. And Pablo trying to get the kill on Nukamati. Needs to be careful though, because Own Me, he's got way too much stolen damage. So it's a double kill for Razor. This is exactly as you two were talking about.
You cannot play this lane this far up. It's like impossible in my opinion. You just get run down. What does Dusa Hoodwink do? I mean, you either have to tank, you just give him a bunch of link damage, and then he out CSs you for a wave and a half, or you just die and come back, or you have to control the pulls. And controlling the pulls can be hard if your lane is weaker early on, because it's hard to contest on that side. So
It's hard.
yeah, it's just a tough lane.
A little bit of harass going on here in the top lane. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to pronounce. Is it Ein? Is that how you pronounce it? The X is throwing me off.
I don't know which player you're talking. I need it on my camera.
I believe it's correct.
Not Olnit, not Rajix, not J4. There he is.
Ein.
There's the lion. There's that mini ravage we talked about. Whirling Death. They'll throw out a Hex. And should be able to get enough clicks off. Well, Blue some Beam buys enough time, but no. Gets cut down by Rajix. And he's going to go for the Timber Chain forward over onto J4. Again, just hating on those trees, as the Timber Saw does. Round and round, though, because of
Healing
that
so
leech
much.
seed. It's just too good.
Let's get so many heals from these Whirling Death
Ooh.
removals.
27 hit points. Yeah, how did you...
EXen, obviously.
That...
I hope they win so we can ask.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. How would you say it, SVG?
Probably Ein.
Ein, that's what I'm thinking right now.
But
Go with Ein.
they're doing well in the lane, so call it a W.
They're doing Ein. All right, bad joke. Fine.
I'm not even gonna.
You laugh.
No,
you
I
laugh.
did not. I did not laugh.
It
Just for the
counts.
record, I did not laugh.
There was an explosion of air
Great
in a
dodging.
way that sounded like it, but
One thing to consider on these side lanes, though, is I think Quap is having a pretty free lane mid. Looks like she's getting runes too, so she can look for turnaround potential on this bottom lane. If Razor gets too aggressive and you can TP in, get a nice ulti kill, it would be pretty nice for Dusa and getting the levels back up, and it could be like the one play Quap can think about. But we see Lion come down.
yeah. Send down the Lion. They should have enough. Oh, the Shadow Realm, though, will be enough to keep alive. I needs to be careful he doesn't end up dying here. So they've already lost Pablo. That is not the way you want this gank to go. You don't want to make them even stronger by throwing more bodies down here.
It was a good rotation. Like it looked like they were gonna get Willow, but just a little bit too much. Here's the Hex. They get the disable follow-up. They didn't want to have to throw the stun, but wow, that was actually really,
It's
really
so
close.
close.
And then he comes back in, uses the same thing that saved his life to get the kill. Nicely done.
We talked about a little last game, though. This is a similar situation where you can come down here and you can gank this lane, but is it really changing the flow of the lane? Now, let's say even if you get this Razor kill, Razor dies, he respawns, he comes back down there, he's full. You have to leave your Dusa here again. It's not changing the nature of the lanes to that large a degree. So I think it's something you can think about just in general, and like how do you skew the early game in Dota? Generally, you want to skew lanes that then snowball off that advantage. So like this top lane, for example, once Timbersaw gets an advantage, he can do stuff like this, where he's just 1v2 kicking out both heroes and taking their tower. He doesn't need any help, but you can still come up here and snowball with him, kill this Luna, kill this Timber or Trine if they come up here, and now you're really gaining an advantage.
Yeah, this is the advantage of his hero matchup here. Like he laned fine. Oh, great rotation.
Yeah, Ein showing up again as they have the Chakram. Should have enough damage to take down Olnut. J4 having to move deeper, but Mastermind making his own rotation in the top lane, so should be able to get himself a vengeance kill.
But still so good to just clear the trees like that. I mean, most heroes that can kill trees have been nerfed. But he can easily pressure this. All the trees are dead. That means J4 can't just hide in the trees throughout the Nature's Grasp to counter push, and that's going to force rotations like Mastermind here to slow down this tower pressure.
Yeah, he had to come and just deal with this catapult so his tower doesn't die, but that means Quap gets to hit mid for free at full resources. That's a lot of mid tower damage that you sacrifice in order to do that, and an Arcane Rune.
No boots on him either, so he's going to have Orchid really quick. He's only like 750 gold away. That could be really threatening. Maybe not necessarily towards Ember. If he gets Flame Guard off, he'll be fine, but if he rotates and kills like Luna or Razor, I think it would feel pretty decent. But instead, just going to steal creeps here. Oh, the efficiency.
Oh boy, Sonic Wave, I'm getting into position. That's a kill.
That was cool. Perfect skill usage on both of them.
Day4 just trying to keep this tower alive, trying to not allow Rajax to get more damage down. It's just been a ring around the rosy of death here in the top lane.
He's cut so many trees, he has none to Timber Chain to.
Or Whirling Death.
This was his plan all along. Timber Chain, okay, running out of trees over Rajax, and the rotation from Nukamati force him away as he runs right into Ulnit. Just feels like they don't want to have to deal with him. They're going to back off as over onto the mid lane, or bottom lane, sorry, we have a smoke play. As they're going to try to punish Ghost Frogs here. Excalibur, just going to get linked up, will break immediately. I'm getting into position, follows up with a nice spike. And they need to get a little bit more damage down, but they'll take out Owned Me.
Secures the last hit.
Getting the moves, making the kills. This is just a nice way to use this pressure this Timbersaw is creating. Dire has to keep reacting up here. It means your supports are freed up. You're able to make some of these ganks, smoke your Quap, get a nice juicy Razor kill. Now both your tempo setters are snowballing. Deuce will catch up. Her lane was pretty rough too, but she's going to catch up a lot faster as Luna if a lot of her map doesn't get taken away in the next 10 minutes.
It's just so valuable to have these like hero spammers like this in circumstances like this. You pick it early, they counterpick you, and you're like, oh, that's okay. I know it's hard, but I know how to play around it. You play around it, and then it just like opens your whole game up because your opponent's committed to this strategy that seemed like it would make sense, but now you're getting everything on the map you want. So good for Team Bolt so far.
I feel like this is so necessary, right? Because in game number 1, it was so difficult for Gork to get any sort of breathing room. And again, it was a little bit of a strange pairing going up against that bottom lane. But this time around, when you have a Timbersaw, you're able to make so much space on the map, apply that pressure, give Gork the time to farm, hit creeps, and then also, you know, Excalibur on this hero that can be very, very active. He didn't have his difficult time in the mid lane as earlier. So he and I'm just making these plays around the map, but I like to see it.
Got a full Orchid. 11 minutes.
A much better game than it was in the last one. Nukamati, though, breaking the smoke. Drop a sentry ward, Ein showing. We'll see Nukamati will open up with the Earth Spike. You can see now Rajak making his way over. Pablo trying to get into position. They get the Orchid off over onto the Razor. Gonna try to burst him down the Sonic Wave. They'll get the Razor, but the Terrorize will force them back, so they can't quite get into that corner as a bit of the nuke damage over onto Nukamati, but it's again a nice spike there, slowing down. And now they'll get their hands over onto Mastermind. Do they have the way to lock him down, though? He is silenced up. He'll find the kill on Ein. Chakum dealing a lot of damage. They need a little bit more burst, and they'll have it in the form of Excalibur's Scream.
That was really well done by Quap. He just sat in the back trees. It looked a little awkward at first because their smoke broke, and they were like, oh shit, they have vision. But just one of those cases where if Ghost Frogs actually has vision there, that fight doesn't go nearly as bad. And he just sat at the back. He gets Orchid off on the Razor to amplify damage. He gets a great ulti, and he gets to follow up and clean up kills. Like, that's the best way to play Quap if you can. You just get rounds and rounds of spells off without putting yourself in danger, and it requires your team to have frontliners. So good that Radix is here to do that for him.
I mean, he also had an Orchid on a full HP Razor. They burst him down, and later in the fight, his second Orchid on an Ember.
Yeah, that was
3-man
really
Sonic Wave. Just perfect spell usage. And this is the exact type of fight that Radiant's heroes want to take in this game for like a couple reasons. One, this Timber gets to port in.
Oh dear. Oh, this is a very nice kill.
Double damage rune paying off.
Double damage, and now Luna's not farming, and they can really start to take over this dire half of the jungle if they want. Try to put more vision. Whatever they like.
But just to finish up that last point, when Timber and Quap get to take the counter initiation fight like that on their tower and they see everybody, it's just way too easy. Especially heroes like Treant and Darkwill, when they're your two supports, they have to be pretty close to get damage output out.
Oh my god.
It's just rough. So that was a huge fight for them. They can blow the map open right now. This Orchid's super powerful. Timbersaw is pretty much unchecked until Luna and Razor get to some sort of items to help them engage. They can maybe get some crazy overgrowth fight, but Radiant has to kind of overextend into it because they're playing with a lot of ranged heroes that can keep the gap.
Ghost Frog's trying to push them out of this triangle area. Get the Orchid off over onto Ember. But it's very easy for them to just dip away. They don't have the greatest of lockdown currently in this area, so. Team Ball just gonna go reset, make their way over to a different lane, continue the pressure.
It's so tough they took the Ancient stack as well with that one fight. Because now Luna's still behind in levels. It's very common to go this like 2-4-4 or 1-4-4 build, but now he doesn't get that like supercharge into like enough loose to be multi-levels. He's just gonna be behind, can't fight for a while.
A lot of damage being stolen here by Onmi, but Rajix doesn't really seem to care because they have their eyes on someone else. Let's see if they can get the kill over onto Mastermind. Not gonna be able to go and land that though. They go for the overgrowth. The Sonic Wave though will clean up Onmi. There's a 4 for Mastermind. He wants to kill over onto the Quap. He can't quite find it. So he's gonna remnant forward. So he's finally gonna be able to get enough out. As over on the back lines, Rajix, he's very survivable. He's got the Hood of Defiance. I'm looking a little bit scary though, because he does not have as much HP, but that Shadow Realm Strike not gonna be enough.
It's the exact type of fight Dire wants to take. They get 4-man overgrowth. The Willow gets to use all of her spells, multiple slights. This Razor was the brunt of tanking all of the spells. Someone has to step up and take the sacrifice in some of these fights now at this point. But that's again where Ghost Frogs, they really wanted to be ahead in this early and they wanted their silence to go better because Trine and Dark Willow, otherwise they're going to have a hard time making aggressive moves in this game. And we see here, this Timbersaw is invincible. He's not dying unless you bring 5 heroes and chain root him at this point. So you're just going to feel pressured because he can attract more attention. Whereas the game, it's on the back foot for them. And this is kind of Team Bald's opportunity to close out the map, use this Quap's momentum, use the Timber's momentum, use the fact he's invincible, force multiple heroes into him, or go to where he knows this Luna wants to farm and continually shove her out of areas. Because Dusa is going to accelerate really fast. She's basically never going to get touched this game.
The Ancients are touching it right now.
That's true.
Whack, and the Sharpshooter cleaning up. To get the root off over onto the Quap. Excalibur's sitting a bit low, but the Slight comes into play.
A little too over.
EKB gets queued up. The Bushwhack, though, again here. Haven't quite messed up these stuns like we were talking about with the Timber and the Hoodwink, so.
They're just getting great combos with between the two support duos. The Lion and the Hoodwink, it's just so much disable. So even if they don't have like the best cores in position, it just feels like they have so many different ways to kill these spirit heroes than survivable heroes. They've done this really well both games.
And something else with these Treant lineups is traditionally, I think this hero, his most effective spell in a lot of this earlier mid game is this Living Armor spell. In terms of boosting up effective HP, scaling into the mid game fights, keeping people alive. But if you look at Team Bald's lineup, not a lot of early physical damage that they need to rely on in order to kill people.
Schwack again over onto Allnet. Gonna try to burst down fast enough. They have the damage.
All right, another good kill, keeping Luna's net worth down.
Look at the net worth now, the difference here, because, you know, Gork having a lot of difficulty early on. His lane was very difficult, but is now starting to escalate, whereas the Luna just hasn't been able to take stacks, right? Like a lot of the stacks that she found were taken out. Ooh, the Bushwhack connecting. They already have the Orchid. Can they do enough, though, to hold them into place? Doesn't look like they'll be able to.
Like, even if they're not getting all these kills, they're just doing a great job pressuring Ghost Frogs constantly. Like, they're getting other objectives. 2 of their heroes are taking a tier 1 tower. 2 are pressuring the Ember Spirit, so he has to leave from the mid lane, which would be efficient. He has to walk to the jungle instead. Now a 7k gold advantage for their squad.
They're definitely taking away a lot of this breathing room, and that's all really Luna wants to do, right? Because she does have the glaives that want to be able to bounce around, take stacks, you know, get her back on Lauren here, and it's just too difficult because every time that it seems that she shows up in a lane, there's always someone else hunting her, whether it's a Timber, whether it's, you know, Excalibur on the Quap. And like you said, they know exactly how to move. Like, look at this, she shows up on the map. There it is, the finger, the Sharpshooter. Ulnet has no place to breathe.
So confident with their stuns. It's great. It's fun to watch.
He does have some room in terms of his top jungle. They have the wards for it. His Razor's taking the farm, so maybe they're just prioritizing some itemization here. But yeah, that mid lane is just way too dangerous. I also assume this line has to be close to Blink at this point.
He's already got it. He actually
already
just
got it,
finished
so
it.
yeah. That's going to make the map even more difficult to play.
So many denies. Powerful. Uh-oh.
Again, anyone shows up on the map, it's Team Bald, the hit squad, showing up and making sure that they're no longer in their area.
I feel like teams are doing a great job right now. Just, we have gold advantage, we sit in your tri-camp, and then you just bounce in between and make your opponents run really elaborate ways to go hit creeps.
It's nice. This ward spotting out immediately, so they'll be able to find J4. He gets the overgrowth off, but doesn't even matter. It's just going to slow them down a little bit as the BKB gets popped here from Own Me. Be able to slow a little bit over onto Ein. Rajik's right behind him, trying to help out, but there's not a whole heck of a lot that he can do over on the back line, so they find Pablo. Now Rajik's trying to slow down just a little bit. Already used that Essence Ring. He's got the Timber Chain. They need to find a way to slow him down. The follow-up here from Mastermind. He's got to be careful. Sitting very low, they'll be able to get themselves a double kill this time.
Gotta be careful on these overextensions, because that's where these overgrowth and full Razor Link BKB reveal. He gets to basically kill the line for free because Team Bald has no BKB pierce except for that Gork ultimate, which he wasn't there. Gets that full link damage, chase the Timber down. These fights can still be turned around, and especially if you have the number advantage like that.
Do you think that Gork's playing in the right place on the map? Because obviously his ultimate would be useful there. He didn't have a TP, but there's no TP points, right? So if your team's playing tri-camp and making them bounce around the map inefficiently, it's good for him to be there, right? Because his net worth is clearly going up in a huge way. He's going to have Scotty soon once he gets that Luna screwed, and as is the Razor. They're just going to be slowed too much. So
yeah, I think he's doing fine. You
Okay.
just farm, accelerate, get your Scotty in this game, and then maybe you can force a fight or take a Roche with it or something like this.
So
I don't think he should be pressured to join those fights.
So his team just overextended, basically.
Yeah, I think it's just an executional thing. Like, I think Radiant can take these fights where they go in and out, play around the lockdown, play around the vision. They don't even have to necessarily engage. If they're just in the area, they're scoping out Dire, they're limiting Luna's areas, just annoying. The preventative thing is also that Gork knows he's not getting smoked or ganked on, which is another big thing in this game. Because Dire can run some 2 or 3 man smoke into triangle to kill Adusa to try and repair some of the advantage, but if you're having to defend your triangle, Radiant scouting all these supports, they're scouting the Razor, there's not much threat for him, and that helps him accelerate even more. He can farm more aggressively in this top area, in the top lane, shove it deeper. That's really what you want to see. I think Deuce is a hero. You want to feel comfortable and confident not forcing that hero to join too many early fights or engagements, because she's just such a fast flash farmer in general. And his early game wasn't even that good, right? So he probably feels like, you know, why should I be the one giving back if my early game was the worst?
The
Extreme close up.
The true zoom in.
Watch this Razor just get cut apart, despite that thing on.
Is it about that the Timber Chain missed, I guess? Wow, it did miss.
It visually hit,
If that would have been a kill.
thematically hit.
Would have been a kill otherwise. That's what this was about.
It was a kill in his heart. He'll tell his team, go watch that after the game.
But
He
what's
tried really hard, guys.
I was right, the force was wrong.
Another Hex again. The hit squad of Team Ball, Sonic Wave. They'll finish off. They'll use the overgrowth too as they follow up here. Own Me joining in with Mastermind. They'll find the kill on Excalibur. It's already got the silence off. The Stone Gaze getting popped here by Gork. Ghost Frog's looking to re-engage now.
They
Root
still
off over onto Pablo. A couple of these clicks off should be a dead Hoodwink. Own Me's getting himself a double kill. The chase is on Rajik's on
Oh,
Ein.
no.
Oh, Ein. That is a very
Oh, he makes it.
optimistic
He got out.
DP, and it did manage to get out, indeed. A lot of attention now being placed onto Rajix. They'll be able to interrupt that Timber Chain. He's already popped the Hood of Defiance. He's crawling towards his tower, but still going to fall. Now Gork, he's left all alone here. Does not have the Stone Gaze, and they'll go pop the Manta. He's got to run away from the Eclipse. There's going to be a buyback, though, coming up from Rajix. He wants to try to punish them. They're going deep for the dive. Ein is here. Going to try to follow up, but not going to be able to quite manage as they'll take down Ein. They'll take down Gork. Rajix trying to clean up, trying to finish off over on Owned Me. He's all against the world, though, right now, because there's just too many heroes here, and he doesn't have any sort of a mobility as he's going to get Cursed Crown. Excalibur following. Can he get the kill onto Mastermind? He's feeling like he might be able to. Sliding forward, another Shadow Dagger. Rajix will be able to take down Mastermind. They'll go through.
Holy
They get Kabaddi, they
shit.
get J4, they get Uldet. And we talked about overextensions, boys.
I mean, it looked great for Ghost Frogs. I thought Gork was crazy there. He's fighting 4 heroes. He doesn't have that much damage. He ends up beating the Eclipse. Like, he eventually goes down, but Rajik's there. When it just looked like it was going to go worse, him and Excalibur were able to turn the tide and get all the pickoffs. But it looked a little hairy, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was looking like one of those maybe, how many buyback TPs in? Are we going to die again, perhaps?
Same feed.
I think Razor had another link come up too, but he was so low he didn't want to re-engage. That's one of those fights Could go either way, super on a knife's edge. Timbersaw, of course, had to buy back, so I think that Radiant's still pretty good, or that fight's still pretty good for Dire. I think any fight where they can get some of these Radiant cores net worths down is going to help them a lot in terms of the Luna Razor scaling.
Yeah, Razor's really approaching, getting closer. They still are going to have the Scotty advantage. They're still going to have the Stone Gaze advantage, but that'll go a long way to get Ghost Frogs closer.
The question is, do the Ghost Frogs make their way over to this pit? Because I don't think they're going to make it in time.
Nope. DD bottom, though.
Age is getting placed on Medusa. They did smoke up to try to get over there, but a little bit too late. So Ghost Frogs going to reposition, reconsider what they want to do.
They're close to party time. I mean, they've almost got Refresher. It's just like the most beautiful item build for Razor, genuinely. That fast BKB fits his skill build perfectly. The Ags makes it feel like this BKB rush didn't hurt him in the slightest. Just does tons of damage in the team fights, especially if they can keep Timber away from a creep wave and he doesn't have that much armor. They're going to really shred heroes. So Quap, despite getting BKB, still has to be careful. If she BKBs, gets Overgrowth, and Razor's on top of her, she's going to die.
Yeah, this Overgrowth is really big in these fights in terms of it's what's stopping the Quap, even the Timber to some degree, from super over chasing in the engagements. If they get caught in those numbers in the back line with the Razor Link, with the Dark Willow spells, that's when you can really drop. Because Timber's still trying to build towards that Lotus, and I don't think Quap has a display yet. So if you commit too early, you pull the trigger, you get turned on. That's how Dire can really turn the engagements. And we've seen this Razor Refresher build carry a lot of games.
Yeah, so many.
So
especially if he gets on supports, like Lion and Hoodwink. We've already seen them. They're so vulnerable once Ember or Razor gets on the back line.
that's why I think Gork has to play to protect his back line this game. Use the Scotty, use your body, use your ultimate to act as a barrier, create the space for your supports so they can play the fight safely. Don't abandon them. Don't chase too far either. Your hero's not as mobile as some of these Dire cores in terms of their speed and the gap close. So you just need to play as a unit, play behind your Deuce and your Aegis, use her strength to dissuade the aggression, and you should be chill.
Rajik's throwing his body very forward here at the towers. Gork plinks away. You see the teleports are coming out. Gonna try to push back. Excalibur over in the other lane. He's gonna go for the BKB.
Good force by Ghost Frogs there.
Pretty big deal, yeah. Makes him less likely to want to continue for the time being.
That's too scary without BKB. There's like, he's just gonna get chain disabled or chain rooted. So they'll play passive for a bit, unless they get a
Unless
pick off.
Ein finds himself an opening, and that's a pretty damn good opening to get rid of the Ember Spirit. Does have buyback if he wants to get in here.
God, that ulti looks so cool. The blue sonic wave. Ooh.
That's the evolved version of Quap.
Yes.
You're going back to Pokemon
That costs
now?
money.
Oh, me opening up that plasma field has his BKB. They've got the Lotus here
They
over
linked.
on Gork. They go for the refresher. Gork onto the back line, so they spot out Nukamati. They're going to try to clean up the Dark Willow first, and then they'll turn back around the silence over onto Luna. A little bit of that slow from the Scott. Excalibur getting into position, throws out the dagger, goes very aggressive. BKB again coming out from Ownby, but look at this damage coming out from Gork now. It's looking pretty scary, but he is stopping so much as they use the overgrowth. They'll hold him into place. Can they kill off Excalibur is the question. They will be able to, but they'll be able to find Ownby. Ownby's just taken out of the fight. The Aegis gets popped. Queen of Pain buying back now. Wants to get back in. A good terrorize from Nukamati will push them away.
All right, that saves Gork. Really nicely done by Radrix there. He puts the Lotus Orb on the Duso right before the first link. That basically meant that Ghost Frogs wasn't ready to fight in that moment. Once they reset and link successfully, that's when they got to go in. But it bought him enough time with this buyback to maybe take the racks. Let's see.
The Bushwhack to jump forward again here. Gives quite connect over onto the Sharpshooter. Mastermind still alive. They'll take the tower. Looks like they'll be happy with this. They used up their Aegis already.
Queen of Pain buyback, though.
There's a buyback.
Looks like she did gain gold, though. Surprisingly.
Yeah, but that's just going to kill her momentum to the next item.
For sure.
And if she ever dies again,
Low
huge time off the map.
Okay, there's a find right there. That's a dead Nukamati.
That was a good one.
I do think this Lotus Orb is pretty huge in these fights. It's a dissuasion for the Razor Link, but what it also does is Razor's a hero that has to commit into the fight, and he needs to be able to use his BKB early so that he can get the Link and all this magic damage. He doesn't get Lion impaled in a chain stun and bursted. So he has to kind of commit early. If you throw this Lotus in, now he's BKB'd in a situation where he can't link the target he wants. it stalls out a lot of that duration. So even if you don't hit the link with it, it's still just super good defensively in this game in terms of preventing the link. And of course, you can also always Lotus an Overgrowth or a Chains off your co-op, and you might save him when his BKB is down.
That's true.
All right, round 3 here as they've got the Flamethrower online for Ragic. Scork continuing to just click away. And they do not have the Dark Willow to get into position this time for the resetting. Slides here coming out from Mastermind. Stun Quap. Excalibur getting a little shy here. Won't just blink out. They'll continue the pressure and they'll finish up with the lane of Rax on the top. Not putting a little bit of damage over onto Rajix, but again, it's that Lotus Sword. He's got Timber Chain. Able to just zip away as, ooh, the Bushwhack does connect. Nukamati following up though. They'll turn back around. They've got so much damage. They'll blow up Mastermind. There is no Ember for 90-something seconds. Onmi hiding here over into the corner. Does get spotted by Gork. Gets a couple of these clicks off. Mystic Snake, Terrorize coming into play. Will push Gork back, even though they get a nice Bushwhack. I know getting its position. Manages to land the stun. They'll cut him down. Now there is buyback on this Razor, but looks like Team Bald gonna march right back into the base. He's gonna buy back. He's not happy about not being a part of this fight. Swing pop here on Rajix. He's got the Lotus again, but does have a Cursed Crown on him, so he's gonna just zip out for a moment. Let Gort click away on the tower, and they do have the living armor. But they're definitely committing here. Putting down this pressure, putting down this damage. Now the Bramble Maze thrown out. They are stunning up Rajix pretty nicely, but he's just so tanky. Okay, they go for the BKB. Already used the link. They get the stun, but now Gork is going to get forced forward. Still has that link on him, though. He's got to be very, very careful here. So he does plenty of damage to Ein, so they'll find that pick off. As the BKB was out from Olnet, he's got a lot of damage, but just can't seem to really hold down Excalibur for long enough. They even drop that tree just in case they need to go for a Bushwhack play as they chase after him.
You know, sometimes Razor links your carry, he gets like 300 damage, then your carry says, I'm out of here, peace, and then he two-shots your support. Lion's like, why do I have to deal with this? It's your damage, you know? But these Radiant Cores are just, they're super tanky, and what it means is they just run at anybody on Dire, they get vision, makes it really easy for Hoodwink and Lion to get these jumps. And the second one of those cores is stunned, they're going to get chain stunned, they're going to get 100% bursted no matter what. There's no save, no way to really stop it. It's just, it's too easy at the moment. Dire needs a bit more damage on their cores to be able to dissuade this front line from just setting the terms of the fight on their turf.
It's like, it's surprisingly effective that both Lion and Hoodwink kind of have the same ultimate. It's just like lots of single target burst damage. So it's like, and they both have a lot of disable that can be thrown from good range with the blink on Lion. So it's like, as soon as they catch one of these guys, they're just so vulnerable. So Ghost Frogs just keeps getting punished like that. Like that they go on Razor in the mid lane, and then everyone's like, oh, defend Razor, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, also Ember gets caught by one stun and instantly dies. Like it's really just opened up a lot of opportunities for.
So one way around this one, you have these frontliners that you just can't deal with. Try and find the back line.
Oof.
Find the wrap, find the flank, as we see Ember just gets jumped and bursted.
J4 hopeful that he's able to just teleport out, and indeed he is.
I would really like to see Dire on these base defenses smoke around. You don't have to do it with everybody either. You can show someone high ground, play a little mind games too, and find the supports. Because if you eliminate them first, you can kite out the rest of the Radiant's heroes, especially if you can save this overgrowth because those supports are dead. You don't feel like you have to commit it too early. I think that's the best way they can win a fight at this point, in terms of getting around these frontliners, which it's way too hard to just run into the Medusa and Timber at this point.
Incredible dodge.
He's got a butterfly.
He actually maybe didn't dodge it because he just has the shard, so you can remove the stun. Probably.
Like how you're looking at Avery to explain
probably
that.
Hit. No, I'm just, it's not a good, I could have been wrong. Oh, we get to see it again.
Okay, here we go.
Here it comes. That was quite, I don't know if it's good. It's hard. Like he either frame perfect dodges it or he doesn't. Either way, he doesn't get stunned, so it's hard for me to verify.
I don't think he dodged it. He just dispelled it, but you can't dispel the shard of procs anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I guess he dodged the stun.
It looked great. Like it very likely did do it. It's just hard for me to verify.
You got a replay.
Yeah, but
you're the weatherman, dude.
I don't.
Come on. This is like this is your wheelhouse.
Look, normally you verify whether or not you manta dodge something is whether or not the stun hits you. If it doesn't, you're like, wow, he frame perfected it. But here, like, there's literally no.
It's always frame perfect.
It's confirmation bias, you know. It's like it was at the timing looked great. No hate there.
blink on Razor. We're talking about reaching the back line. That's one way to do it.
That is.
Does J4, the Treant, have a blink as well?
No, he has a Force Staff. He's working on it, though. Look at
can-
Ein breaking some of the smoke. They ping it out.
Ankle's broken.
Gork throwing his body forward, as we kind of wanted to see him do. Own Me jumping forward with BKB, already refreshing. Gork just gonna try to get away here. Already popped the Stone Gaze. We'll slow them. Yeah, not gonna be able to follow up there. Not this time around. Excalibur was poking on the back. Be a little bit careful here. He's gonna have to blink, so he's out. Own Me though, jumping in again, finding Gork here. Doesn't have the Stone Gaze this time around. The Terrorize will push them away. He's gonna dive here. Can they get the final hit off? They'll end up losing Ein yet again, but the turnaround coming back out again. Razor sitting so low that Chakram just cuts right through him. So use that Sonic Wave over onto the back lines. Luna, now she had the Eclipse up, but now she's left alone. She's tied to a tree and they're just clicking her down. That'll be a dead Allnut. And J4, oh, he's gonna just barely make it out there as Rajix marches down the mid lane.
GG's called.
And they just called it GG.
Wow.
They don't want to have to deal with this any longer.
I mean, it was a really good attempt at the Razor blink. It basically solved the Lotus Orb problem. It was hard, like you said, it's hard for them to approach with BKB